If you have something bad to say, no, it's not bad. The year and a half that I spent there. That's right. By all means, we'll discuss it outside. Down Sandy Hook base today. Are you angry about Sandy Hook? Yeah. Anybody's disrespect the military what they do because they said they shot a guy with a machine gun or something. Everybody was construction will get you the machine gun building. Does it feel good? No, you go in your backyard, make a nice little team, you play the pool, and that's what you need. Military in front of me. Sometimes, you know, this is not your lay low.
Well, could you hear an intellectual criticism of what the military represents in society?
No. I don't want to hear anything. You want to talk to me outside, by all means, we'll go outside right now.
Upstairs, Jay, upstairs.
Do you believe in freedom? Is that something that was important to you about joining the military?
Yes, it was.
And what's freedom mean?
Freedom means the ability to do whatever you want to do because you're protected by government rights.
Well, why do you think the founders of this country were against
I don't need to have an intellectual conversation with you, my friend.
No.
If you have something bad to say and you had it to say earlier, well then you can say it now as a fucking man.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Sure. I believe that the military, by nature of its existence, being funded by taxation, which is theft, is contrary to the ideals of a free
Taxation is
society.
theft?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, how else do you expect governments to pay for everything that goes on?
Well, I think we can do better when we stop stealing from each other and find voluntary.
That doesn't answer my question. How do you expect governments to pay for things without taxation?
I don't.
Okay. So that kind of shoots a hole in what you had to say.
No, I think we can achieve everything that government thinks it's achieving better non-violently, better through peaceful means, through cooperative means, rather than violence. I mean, right now we're having a great intellectual conversation. I mean, you didn't want to have it, but if we were outside, we could just be hurting each other. And I don't think that's very productive. Would a conversation be more productive than a fight?
Sure.
But who knows? We could end up doing business together.
We're not going to end up doing that.
We are already.
If you have something bad to say about the people that served overseas, regardless, then that's something I want to hear from you.
Well,
if you want to have an intellectual
I can answer
conversation
that.
about whatever,
Sure.
I want to hear that.
You're
just anybody else to me.
Well, I think when I enlisted, there was a large amount of ignorance involved, and I didn't really understand the implications of what enlisting in the military meant. And I volunteered, and I was in Fallujah in 2004. I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. But I think
thank you for that.
Well,
because my cousin died in Fallujah.
What did you do in Fallujah in 2004?
Civil affairs.
Civil affairs. So you were nowhere near action.
Well,
you don't know what it was like when I parachuted in 2003 with the Army and we took over Iraq, and that was what we did.
Okay, well, I was in the first Battle of Fallujah. I got a little bit of combat, but it's really not.
What would you describe as a little bit of combat as a civil engineer?
Civil affairs. Civil affairs. We were attached to infantry for the siege of Fallujah. So we were right there.
What did you guys do? Build buildings and shit like that?
Well, it doesn't really matter. This isn't a contest of who's got the bigger dick, dude. This is a conversation about you brought up about the.
My conversation is, if you're disrespecting the military, then I have a problem with you.
Well, you can call it disrespect. I think it's an important intellectual criticism to realize that most of us are lied to before we enlist in the military. Most of us are lied to
100%
about yeah. So obviously, in some way, we're taken advantage of. You know, it's always poor men dying in rich men's wars. Why is that? Because they take advantage of us. You're lied to about benefits. You're lied to about the very nature of the agreement. They call it a contract. It's an enlistment document that doesn't bind them to anything. It only binds you. And I think that makes us suckers. I think I was a sucker for volunteering to go to Iraq. I think I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. I think when people are able to listen to an intellectual understanding and criticism of how society is organized, then we can move forward. That's what I do. And to me, freedom is the guiding ideal in that. And the sad thing about the military in particular...
Your criticism is of bureaucracy and how that is all handled.
No, that's a consequence. My criticism is really the moral foundation of an organization that's funded by theft and based on lies. I have a problem with that.
Not
my sense
so
of
much
justice
as
and
the
freedom.
person doing their job that they're instructed to do.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being. You can't assign blame to someone for being a victim. If I say that you are a victim because you were lied to about why the military exists, you were lied to about why we went to Iraq, that does not ascribe moral responsibility to you. So there's a distinction there. I'm not saying that you're bad or you're at fault, but for the like, I torture people, you know, and I made a willing choice to follow orders that I should have disobeyed.
Absolutely.
And in that case, that was something I have to live with. I have to take moral responsibility for it. But on a bigger scale, how we move forward as society is by having these conversations where we encourage people to see beyond their personal experience and see about the moral implications of the institutions that we are all part of, by which society is organized under government. As you point out, as you said, you know, we get lied to, we get taken advantage of. I'd like to see that stop.
But I have no problems with it.
Awesome. Well, I hope you'd share that passion for justice and at least be able to take a copy of the book and do me a favor as a fellow veteran and take some time to consider this. It's free audiobook if you'd rather have the audiobook. But if this was of any interest to you, I think you find that, you know, better than fighting, there are ways to help provide value for other people. And obviously you've got a lot of passion, you've got some talent, you know. I hope I challenge you to think about how you apply it differently.
Disregard, respectfully, your pamphlets and all of that, but your views aren't totally asleep. So I'll agree with you on that.
All right. Well, you want a sticker? Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share this video, and check out thefreedomline.com for free book downloads and all your freedom gear needs. Grow up. Take responsibility for your life. Violations of the non-aggression principle are the root of nearly all